ever looked at your bank account and wondered, where on earth did all my money go? Like, I know I made money, but where is it? Well, if that's you, don't worry because that used to be me as well until I created this Google Sheet that now it allows me to track my finances so well that I have not had that issue in a little over a year. So today I'm going to show you guys exactly how I track my finances as a real estate investor. And as always, I will share this Google Sheet with you guys completely for free. Has all my formulas, all my calculations in here. So if you want it, just send me a DM on Instagram and it's all yours. No catch or anything like that. So let me go ahead and show you guys exactly how to utilize this sheet. So the first column right here, you've been doing this since kindergarten, right? You have a date. So every single day you want to go ahead and just go ahead and fill out the information, according to whatever day it is. Now, all of these right here, they're not just names on a Google Sheet. All of these are actual bank accounts that I have inside of my Wells Fargo. So when I log into Wells Fargo, I have all of these different accounts that I have access to. And I recommend you do the same thing with whoever you bank with, whether, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, or if you're Puerto Rican like I am, Banco Popular. So, whoever you're banking with, I definitely recommend you have some structure similar to this. Even if it's not exactly how I have mine set up, I definitely do recommend you have a similar structure to at least what I have set up. So let me explain how all these work. Now, very, very important. Let's start off with our income account. And I actually stole this concept from the book Profit First. So the income account, whenever I get paid, so right now my average wholesale fee is around $25,000. So whenever I get paid, whether it be a wholesale, a flip, whatever, people only send me money to my income account. Now, the beautiful thing about having it set up this way is, like I said at the very beginning of this video, have you ever wondered, hey, where did all my money go? Well, one of the reasons why I don't have that problem is because nobody who bills me has access to this account. So for example, right now I'm paying a marketing agency 2,500 bucks a month. They have access to other accounts of mine, but they don't have access to my income account. And the reason I believe that is so important is because, again, so many Americans or people in general, you got paid, but then when you look at your bank account, that money is not there. And the reason for that is you don't have any boundaries set up for when and where people can take money from you. So until I move my money from this income account right here, nobody can touch it. And again, that is because no one even has access to this account. Nobody knows that this account exists unless you are like my escrow officer or a title company that's paying me. Those are the only people who have the bank account information for this account. Everybody else, they, if they need to bill me, they can bill me from another account. But as you can see, every other account has $0 in it until I personally move the money from my income account to, my operating expenses account or something like that. And I'll explain how all that works. So long story short, people cannot bill you until you've moved 100% of your money into another account. And then at that point, you can understand that, yes, people are going to bill you. Just don't be a scumbag. And, if you have, let's say, if you owe somebody money on the first of the month, don't like keep $0 in that account until the 10th of the month, right? Like still be responsible, but at least doing it this way, I make sure that if I know I got paid $25,000, if I log into my bank account later, I'm going to see $25,000. I'm not going to see, 22,500 because somebody billed me. That's what pisses me off. So that's why I have this income account. Um, Now, as you can see, once I typed in that 25 grand in here, it automatically populates into the gross total and the net total. Now, you might have no idea what that means right now, but don't worry, I will explain all of that. And I will also explain why it's super important that you have both of these totals set up as well. The next account that I have, and this stands for other people's money, OPM, other people's money. As a real estate investor, I'm buying houses all the time and I use other people's money to buy these houses. So it's not uncommon for me to have, a couple $100,000, a couple $1 million of other people's money inside of that account. What you don't want to do, however, you don't want to mix other people's money with your money. Because let's say, for example, I log in and I see, let's just say $100,000 in there. I don't want to assume, oh, I have an extra $100,000 and then I go buy a new car and then I owe somebody 100 grand and I'm like, whoops, I spent that money, right? Doing it this way helps be very, very, very meticulous with your money. It allows you to not be commingling funds between your personal money, your company's money, and money that other people have trusted you, trusted enough that they're letting you borrow. So if I type in, let's say, $100,000 in here, notice how once I hit enter, I just hit enter. Notice how these totals do not change because I do not want to log in here and look at my totals and assume, I have $125,000 when really I only have $25,000. So column C right here, it allows me to take a look at what is somebody else's money that I am being trusted with. Next up, we have OPEX. That stands for operating expenses. Operating expenses, simply put, is money that is strictly allocated for my business. So, for instance, if I take my girlfriend out on a date, I'm not going to go ahead and pay with my business credit card. I'm going to go ahead and pay with my personal, with my personal card, right? So, operating expenses, this is strictly for company usage. So, let's say I have $300,000 in here. Once I hit enter, you'll see the gross total and the net total will jump up to $325,000. And you might be wondering, Ray, are the gross total and the net total always going to be the same? No, trust me, you'll see, as we continue with this video, how those two accounts differ and why each of them are very, very important. So once I hit enter, you'll see each of those totals jump up by 300 grand. And you'll also see this one right here jumps up to 300 grand as well. Now, let me explain what all this is. So again, I just mentioned that operating expenses is the money that I have for my business. Okay. Now, me personally, I don't like to pay with a debit card because with credit cards, I can get points, I can get cash back, I can get travel benefits, stuff like that. So, what I do is, and I use American Express, I also track how much of a balance I have on my credit card. So, let's say this month I spent 40 grand on my credit card. Watch what happens. Once I hit enter, my operating expenses minus Amex account is going to drop down to 260,000. My gross total account should remain the same at 325, and then my net total should drop down by 40 grand to 285. So we should see 265. I'm sorry, 260, 325, and 285 if I'm doing my mental math correctly. So yep. So I see we went. We have $300,000 in the operating expenses account, which means, hey, when I look at my Wells Fargo, it says I have $300,000 in there, but obviously my Wells Fargo is not factoring in the money that I spent on my credit card, which is why I factor in for that right here. So when I look at my finances, if I need to make a business decision, I'm not making a business decision off of $300,000. I'm making a business decision off of $260,000 because yes, my Wells Fargo, again, it might say I have 300 grand, but I know I put 40 grand on my credit card that I have to pay off at the end of the month. So I really only make my decisions off of $260,000. And if you want to know a secret, you want to know why people rack up credit card debt, it's because they spend money on their credit card and then they look at their Wells Fargo and they say, oh, I have $300,000. So they make decisions as if they really had $300,000. But no, buddy, you have $260,000. So make sure you track that stuff to prevent going into credit card debt. And then I'll explain here with my gross totals and my net totals. The gross total, all this account does is it adds up how much of my money and how much of my company's money I technically have and liquid access to in my Wells Fargo. So when I log into my Wells Fargo, if I don't include my other people's money, I will see $325,000 in there. But again, I know I put 40 grand on the credit card. So when I look at my net total, I know I don't really have 325,000, even though Wells Fargo might say I do. I really only have 285,000. And if I wanted to, let's say, like, shut down my business or something, which I have no plans of doing, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to make vacation plans off of $325,000, I'd only be able to make vacation plans off of $285,000. That would be a crazy vacation. Now that I think about it, though. Okay, moving on to personal checking. So I don't really keep a lot of money in my personal checking. I live a very, very like frugal lifestyle. I like to travel, but for the most part, I really don't have any like crazy expenses. So let's say I have like 5 grand in my personal checking. Once I hit enter, my gross total should jump up to 330 because again, the gross total is factoring in the total of how much money I have between my personal funds and my business's funds without including other people's money. Again, other people's money, the only place where that's included in here is in column C. So once I hit enter, this should go to 330 and this should go to 290. Boom, there we go. Now in my personal savings, let's say I have $100,000. Each of these should jump up by 100 grand. So I should see 430 in here and then I should see 390 in here. There we go. Now, when I input the taxes, pay attention to this one. So, or pay attention to all of these, but pay extra attention here. When I input my taxes, I'm going to do $50,000. Okay. Once I hit enter, my gross total will go up by 50,000 because again, the gross total account is showing me how much of my money and my company's money I have in my Wells Fargo. But listen to this. My net total will actually go down by $50,000. So it'll go down to $340,000. And the reason for that is when I pay the IRS every single year, I don't want like the mental like sadness, I guess, of seeing my net total go down by like 50 grand overnight. That's gonna make me feel like, dang, I just lost 50 grand. So what I do, I'm gonna hit enter. I just pretend like that money's not even there to begin with, right? So I just type in how much is in my taxes account, and then it automatically gets subtracted from my net total. So again, if I wanted to like shut down Monumental, which is the name of my house buying company here in Las Vegas, I can't make decisions as if, if I wanted to go on a crazy vacation, I can't make my vacation plans off of $390,000. I could only make my vacation plans off of $340,000 because I know I'm going to owe 50 grand to the IRS. Stupid IRS. And then lastly, I have my rental account. So let's say I have 20 grand in my rental account. My gross total should go up by 20 because again, gross total is factoring in how much of my money and my company's money I have in my Wells Fargo. And then my net total should also go up by $20,000 to 360. So boom. That's how I do it. And if you want this sheet, send me a DM and I'll send it over to you.